Hello my dear students of grade 10. Today we will start our revision for our upcoming quarter 2 exam, so please focus with me. We will start by solving chapter 2 test form 2a. The first question says, find the range of the relation set of -2, 3, -1, 3, -1, 5, then determine whether the relation is a function or not. The question consists of two parts. The first part requires finding the range of the relation. The second part requires determining whether the relation is function or not. I'll start with the first part, which is to find the range. I look at the y coordinate, which is 3, 3, 5. So the range will be set of 3 and 5. And notice that I wrote only 3 only one time. So the range is 3 and 5. Remember, in order to find the range, I take a look at the y coordinate. But in order to find the domain, I take a look at the x coordinate. Here the question is to find the range. I look at the y coordinate, which is 3, 3, 5. So the range is 3 and 5. The second part requires determining whether the relation is function or not. Here I look at the x coordinate, -2, -1, -1, -2, -1, -1. This is for the x coordinate. So -2, -1, -1, -1 is repeated, so it will not be a function, not a function. So D will be the correct answer for this question. So the second question requires finding the range of the relation, then determine whether the relation is function or not. For the first part, in order to find the range, I'll take a look at the y coordinate, which is 8, 14, 16, 17, 19. This is the y coordinate. So the range is set of 8, 14, 16, 17, 19. And the second part requires determining whether the relation is function or not. I'll take a look at the x coordinate, which is 15, 18, 19, 20, 23. There is no repetition in the x coordinate, so it's a function. So letter J will be the correct answer for this question. In the third question, it's required to find f of -1. f of -1, if f of x equals x squared minus 4 over x plus 2. So f of -1 means to replace every x with -1. Replace every x with -1 to eliminate x and replace it with -1. We can easily do this calculation using calculator. I'd write x squared minus 4, x squared minus 4 over x plus L2, x plus L2. Then press this button, which is solve, and we'll solve for x equals -1. I'd write -1, then equals, the answer will be -3, which is letter B. For the fourth question, it's required to find f of a. f of a means to eliminate f of a. If f of t equals t power 2 minus 2t minus 2, so f of a means to eliminate t and replace it with a. So we will solve this by eliminating t and replacing it with a. It will be a power 2 minus 2a minus 2. So letter J will be the correct answer for this question. For question 5, which equation is linear equation? Remember, the standard form for linear equation is y equals mx plus LC. y equals mx plus LC. Also, the linear equation can be in the form y equals mx only. Also, it can be written in the form y equals c. So these are the different forms for the linear equation. The first one, we'll exclude it. We'll exclude this choice because it's not equation, it's an inequality. The second one, we'll exclude it because it's a quadratic function, as the variable x raised to the power of 2, so it's a quadratic, not linear. Letter C also it's not the correct answer as y raised to the power of 2, but letter D y equals 3 it can be in the form y equals c, so the correct answer will be letter D. And if we want to sketch this graph, y equals 3, it will be something like this. Y equals 3, it will be something like this. At 3, it's a linear equation. Okay. Which function is linear equation? Question 6. Letter F, we have a square root, so it's not the correct answer. Letter G, 2 plus 7k, so it's in the form y equals mx plus c. Letter H, 1 over m, the variable found in the denominator, it's not correct, the correct answer. Letter J, the variable raised to the power of 3, so it's a cubic function, letter J. So letter G will be the correct answer. G of k equals 2 plus 7k. For question 7 and 8, use the function y equals 3 over 2x minus 6 in order to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. Remember, in order to find the x-intercept, I'm gonna put y equals 0. But in order to find y-intercept, I'm gonna put x equals 0, and we can perform this using our calculator like this. Here, in order to find the x-intercept, I'll put y equals 0. So this y, I'd replace that with 0. So I'd write 0 equals 3 over 2 x minus 6. Then press shift solve equals, the answer will be 4, which is letter D. And for question 8, it's required to find y-intercept, so I'm gonna put x equals 0. I'll eliminate x and put 0 instead of it, so I'll do like this. 3 over 2 times 0 minus 6. Then the answer will be negative 6, so F will be the correct answer. For question 9, describe the transformation in y equals absolute x plus 5. Notice that 5 is found inside the absolute. 5 is found inside the absolute. We need to distinguish between y equals absolute x plus 5, this is our question, and y equals absolute x plus 5. There is a difference between this and that. Y equals absolute x plus 5. The type of transformation here is 5 units to left. 5 units to left. But here, the type of transformation here is 5 units to up. So, we need to distinguish between these two forms. 5 is found inside the absolute, so it will be 5 units, but to left. 5 units to left. But here 5 is found outside the absolute, it will be up. Okay, so the answer will be 5 units to left, which is letter A. Question 10, which shows a reflection of y equals x squared. A reflection means to put negative beside x squared. Y equals x squared. So the reflection is y equals negative x squared. This is a reflection on the x-axis. This is a reflection on x-axis. If this is the parent function y equals x squared, so the reflected one on the x-axis will be like this. This is y equals x squared, but this one equals y equals negative x squared. It's a reflection on x-axis. So for questions 11 and 13, use the graph shown in order to determine the values of x between which a real 0 is located. Remember that a real 0 can be also called x-intercept, can be also called root or a solution. So in order to find a real 0, it also means to find the x-intercept for this graph. Here, these are the x-intercepts, this one and that one. this real 0 is located approximately between -2 and -1. This real 0 is located between -2 and -1, but that one is exactly on 0. So we have a real 0 located between -2 and -1. We'll choose letter G. Question 12, estimate the x-coordinate at which a relative maximum occurs. So this is the maximum point, and the question is to find the x-coordinate here as 1. So letter C will be the correct answer. For question 13 says which key features were used to sketch this graph. Which key features were used to sketch this graph? The first choice, the function is continuous. The function is continuous. The function is continuous. The function is continuous. So all the choices have the function is continuous. Okay, this function is continuous. Then I'll continue. The y-intercept is 0. The y-intercept is 0. That's right. The real 0 is between -2 and -1. That's right. The relative maximum is at 1 and 4.5. That's right. The relative minimum is at 2.25. This is the relative minimum, 2.25 and 1.75. Also, that's right. And the last one, the end behavior. As x approaches negative infinity, f of x approaches negative infinity. And that's wrong. The correct answer is as x approaches negative infinity, f of x approaches positive infinity. And as x approaches positive infinity, f of x approaches positive infinity. So I'll exclude option A. Now, for letter B, the function is continuous. The y-intercept is 0. The real zeros are between -2 and -1. That's right. And at 0, also, this is a real 0 for this graph. The relative maximum is at 1 and 4.5. 1 and 4.5. That's right. The relative minimum is at 2.25, 1.75. 2.25, 1.75. That's right. As x approaches negative infinity, f of x approaches positive infinity. That's right. And as x approaches positive infinity, f of x approaches positive infinity. So the correct answer will be letter B. Question 14. Identify the type of special function represented by the equation y equals absolute x minus 3. Remember that our types for special functions were step function and piecewise function and absolute function. So the answer for this question will be absolute value. This is absolute function. So the answer is letter H. Question 15. Identify the range of y equals absolute x minus 4. In order to solve this question, the simplest way is to make a sketch for this question like this. Y-axis, x-axis, then y equals absolute x minus 4. This is a translation for the parent function. Y equals absolute x 4 units down. So if this is -4, I'll sketch the graph like this. So this is the graph for y equals absolute x minus 4, and remember this is a translation for the parent function y equals absolute x 4 units down. So in order to find the range, I'll take a look at the y-axis. The range will be y greater than or equals -4. The answer will be letter B. Question 16, which is not part of the definition of the piecewise function shown. Let's try the choices. Letter F, f of x equals -3 if x less than -2. So I expect the graph of letter F to be something like this. F of x equals -3. It's a constant function. X less than -2. So x less than -2, it will be like this. And this is -2 at the x-axis opened. Letter F is found in this graph, so it's a part, and the question says which is not part, so we will exclude letter F. Letter G, f of x equals x plus 2 if x included between -2 closed and 1 opened. I expect the graph for letter G to be something like this. Line with this slope, -2 closed and 1 opened. So letter G is here. It's found in the piecewise function, -2 closed, 1 opened. So letter G is part, and the question says which is not part. Let's try letter H. Letter H, I expect the graph to be f of x equals x minus 3 for x less than -2. It will be something like this. -2 is opened. So letter H, we don't have letter H in the piecewise function, so it's not a part, and the answer will be letter H. For safety, let's try letter J. I expect the graph to be something like this, as x has coefficient negative, so the slope will be something like this. X greater than or equals 1. If this is 1, it will be closed, and something like this. So letter J is found in the piecewise function. So letter H is the one which is not found in the piecewise function. The correct answer will be letter H. Question 17. Which statement is true about the graph? Which statement is true about the graph? Remember the difference between point of symmetry and line of symmetry. Here we have line of symmetry. Line of symmetry, x equals 1. So the correct answer will be letter C. We need to distinguish between line of symmetry and point of symmetry. If we have a graph like this for cubic function, so this point is called point of symmetry. Point of symmetry. It's called point of symmetry because if we rotated this part 180 degrees like this, it will be coincident on this part. It will be coincident on this part. So this is point of symmetry, but that is line of symmetry. So the answer is letter C, line of symmetry at x equals 1. The last question, describe the transformation in y equals -ax squared minus b if a greater than 1 and b greater than 1. First, -b, it means translation b units down because it's a negative. So translation b units down. Then we have negative beside x squared, it means reflection. So it's a reflection on x-axis. And we have coefficient a greater than 1 beside x squared, which means dilation. And because of a greater than 1, it means stretching for the graph vertically. Stretching vertically a units as a greater than 1. Stretching vertically a units as a greater than 1. Thanks for all of you. Let's continue our revision, but this time it's based on chapter 3 test form 2a. We know that our exam will include chapter 2 and the first 3 lessons in chapter 3, quadratic and complex. So question 1, identify y-intercept and axis of symmetry for the graph f of x. In order to find the y-intercept, remember, in order to find the y-intercept, I'm gonna put x equals 0. So this x will be 0, this x will be 0, 10 times 0, it will be 0, plus 40 times 0, it will be 0, 0 plus 0 plus 42, it will be 42. Then find the axis of symmetry. Remember, in order to find the axis of symmetry for the graph of the quadratic function, it will be x equals negative b over 2a. Negative b over 2a. b is the coefficient of x, which is 40. A is the coefficient of x squared, which is 10. So I'll substitute here x equals negative, b is 40 over 2, a is 10. It will be equals negative 40 over 20, it will be negative 2. So x equals negative 2. The right answer will be letter C. Question 2. Identify the quadratic function graphed at the right. This is going downward, so I expect the coefficient of x squared to be negative. So this coefficient is negative, this coefficient is negative, this coefficient is negative, so I'll exclude letter H. Now our choices F, G and J. Then I can find now the x coordinate of the vertex, which is x equals negative b over 2a. For letter F, it will be negative, b is negative 2 over 2a, which is 2 times negative 1, which will be 2 over negative 2, it will be negative 1. And this is not correct. Here the x coordinate of the vertex is x equals 1. So letter F is not the correct answer. Let's try letter G. F of x equals negative x squared plus 2x. Let's find the x coordinate of the vertex. X equals negative b, which is 2, and negative 2 over 2a, which is 2 times negative 1, which is negative 2. It will be x equals 1. So the correct answer will be letter G. For question 3, determine whether f of x equals 4x squared minus 16x plus 6 has a maximum or minimum value and find that value. Remember, if the coefficient of x squared is positive, so we will have a minimum value. If the coefficient of x squared is positive, we will have a minimum value. If the coefficient of x squared is negative, we will have a maximum value. So here, the coefficient of x squared is positive 4, so we will have a minimum value. But what about this value? This value equals what? In order to find this value, we will find the y coordinate of the vertex. But first, we will find the x coordinate. X equals negative b over 2a. Negative b over 2a, which will be negative b is negative 16. Negative 16 over 2a is 4. So it will be negative 16, which is positive 16 over 2 times 4, which is 8. 16 over 8 is 2. So the x coordinate is 2, but this is not the answer. I need the y coordinate. So now substitute for every x value with 2 in order to find f of x, or the minimum value, which is the answer that we are looking for. So I'll do like this using calculator. For x squared minus 16x plus 6, then press on this button, solve for x equals what? Solve for x equals 2, then equals, the solution will be negative 10, but we have a minimum value, so letter A will be the correct answer. Remember, in order to know whether we have a minimum or maximum value, look at the coefficient of x squared. If it's positive, so we have minimum value. So the coefficient of x squared was 4, positive 4, then we will have a minimum value. In order to find this minimum value, first you'll have to find the x coordinate of the vertex, which is negative b over 2a, negative B is negative 16, so negative 16 over 2. A is 4, يبقى 2 times 4. Negative 16, which is positive 16 over 2 times 4 is 8. 16 over 8 is 2. This is the x coordinate. Now I need the minimum value, which is to find the y coordinate. I'll find the y coordinate by replacing x value in this f of x with 2. And we can do this using calculator. So the answer is negative 10 and minimum, so the correct answer is letter A. Question 4, solve negative x squared equals 4x by graphing. If exact roots cannot be found, state the consecutive integers between which the roots are located. We can solve this using calculator by doing like this. Mode 5, 3. I'll put the first number as negative 1 as it's the coefficient of x squared. The second number will be negative 4. Be careful that the second number will be negative 4, not positive 4, because our standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So this will cross the bridge with the opposite sign. It will be minus 4, minus 4x. So the second number will be negative 4. And the third number is the constant number. We don't have here any constant number, so it will be equals to 0. Press equal. So our roots will be negative 4 and 0. The correct answer will be letter H. Question 5, which is the range of the function f of x equals x squared plus 8x minus 3. In order to find the range, we have to find the y coordinate of the vertex. And in order to find the y coordinate of the vertex, we have to find the x coordinate of the vertex. Remember, the x coordinate is negative b over 2a. Negative b over 2a, which is negative, b is 8, يبقى negative 8 over 2, a is 1, يبقى negative 8 over 2 is negative 4. But remember, this is the x coordinate. Now I need to find the y coordinate by replacing every x value in this function with negative 4. And we can do this by using our calculator. I'd write x squared plus 8x minus 3, and then press solve. I'll solve for x equals negative 4, then equals, the answer is negative 19. The answer is negative 19. So if I want to make a sketch for this graph, it will be something like this. The coefficient of x squared is positive, so it's U shape, it's going upward. It's going upward. And the vertex is negative 4 and negative 19. Negative 4, negative 19 will be something like this. And it's going upward because the coefficient of x squared is positive. So this is negative 19. The range, I look at the y-axis. It will be y greater than or equals negative 19. So the correct answer will be letter A. Again, question 5, in order to find the range, first we have to find the x coordinate, which is negative v over 2a equals negative 4. Then to find the y coordinate by substituting for every x value is negative 4, the y coordinate is negative 19, so it's going upward. If it's going upward, so the range will be greater than or equals y greater than or equals negative 19. Question 6, which equation has no real roots? Which equation has no real roots? We can use our calculator and try our choices. Let's try letter G. If the solution contains I, it will be the correct answer. As it will not have a real roots. It will have a complex number. So let's try mode 5, 3. The first number 1, the second number negative, the first number 1, the second number negative 3, the third number is 9, then press equal. so the solution has complex numbers, so this is the correct answer as it's not a real. The correct answer will be letter G. Question 7, not included in our exam. Question 8, which quadratic has roots -2 and 1/5? We can try the choices using our calculator. Mode 5-3, and if the answer is -2 and 1/5, so I'll choose the right one. Let's try using our calculator. Here I'd write 1, then 4, then 4. The answer is -2, so it's not the correct one. I'll try letter G, 5, 9, -2. 1/5 and -2, so the correct answer is letter G. Question 9, simplify this complex question, so we can perform it using our calculator like this. First, remember to go to mode, then 2. So now this is the complex mode. Press 4 minus 12i, 4 minus 12i minus -8 plus 4i, and equals, it will be 12 minus 6i, which is letter C. The last one, simplify 4 minus 2i over 7 plus 3i. We can perform it also using our calculator. Four minus 2i over 7 plus 3i, and then equals, the solution will be 11/29 minus 13/29i. The correct answer will be F. The correct answer will be F. So this was our last question for our revision.